Hello and welcome. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo, and this is Fireworks, your preferred hard talk interview program that brings you the news behind the news. Kaduna State is known to be the northern cosmopolitan city, bringing all comers together. But the politics is as complex as the faces that it accommodates. Since last year when we visited, when we tried to bring you an understanding of the farmers-herdsmen clashes amongst other issues, many waters have passed. But yet again, we wade through. Perhaps we could bring for you bits and pieces of information that could help you tie the Kaduna story together. And I'll be doing that with the help of a son of the soil on today's edition. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today, my guest wears many caps. He's the former National Legal Advisor to the People's Democratic Party. He's the current Legal Advisor to the people of the Middle Belt. He was a former director at the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. And now he says he's just a community leader, but he remains a national PDP chieftain. Barrister Mark Jacob, thank you for your time on Fireworks.
Thank you so much.
Let's start from the center. I've read quite a number of your statements, and you appear to be a vocal critic of the Nasir El-Rufai government. Let's hear firsthand some of your reservations about this government.
Well, I'm not a critic of the Nasir El-Rufai government. I'm rather an observer of one of the worst experiences a people could pass through in a democratic dispensation.
Worst, you say?
Yeah, one of the worst. I don't pray we ever get back to these days again. We've never gone through this. Even during the military, the state was not run this way. So I pray that this will be the last, and we never get to see this type of governance again. I am terribly sad today because Kaduna State has been taken several kilometers backwards, several years backwards in terms of harmony, in terms of integration, in terms of good governance and building bridges. We have seen the complete collapse of confidence building between the governed and the government. There is no nexus at all. Those in government appear to be in a different world. Those being governed appear to be down the drain, and nobody cares. So for me, it's a sad era, and like I said, I pray we never get to see this type of government again.
So the most important amongst your reservations about this government is an ability to integrate the different peoples of Kaduna.
Certainly, absolutely.
But what about the reforms that this government is carrying out in terms of when we visit this federal civil service, the state civil service?
Yes.
Let's talk about the education reforms also. The giant strides that this government is making in these areas, none impresses you?
I'm yet to see any giant strides besides the sacking of hard-working, innocent civil servants.
Teachers that couldn't pass primary 4 competency test.
Who has ever written that type of test? Ask and tell me. Find out anywhere in this country who has ever written any primary 4 competency test.
We saw the marked results of some of these tests, and
yeah,
we saw that
those were like 4 or 5.
Failed.
Those were like 4 or 5 marked scripts. If Nasir El-Rufai is bold enough, let him bring those scripts and give them to some other body to look at. If he is honest, if he is sincere, and he believes what he is doing is correct, let that exercise be given to the structured institutions provided or set up by law, who have the authority and the competence of setting up such exams.
But he raised child enrollment rates from the start of this administration, which was at 1.1 million to 2.1 million currently.
My sister, those are bogus figures. They are bogus figures that cannot be substantiated. I have been involved in administration. You don't get to sack 21,000 or 22,000 without preparing who will take charge of the schools in the interim. There was no preparation. You woke up one day and chased everybody out of the classes. And you had nobody to take over. From which state?
Currently scrutinizing 25,000. So
from where?
It wasn't a
These
matter
are lies.
of the wage bill, but more about ensuring competence.
I'm not even bothered about the wage bill.
More satisfactory.
Look, I am just telling you that this is practically not true. Where are the 25,000 people? They should have taken over by now if they were there. They don't exist. Nasiru El-Rufai, as stated by Obasanjo, is a high-class classical liar who has no limit when it comes to telling lies. And he can tell lies about anything.
If you were an entrepreneur,
yes,
and you wanted to sack your staff en masse,
yes,
and you were going to recruit to replace them, would you do it in the open glare of your staff that were still at work?
If I would sack incompetent staff, which is normal and authorized, I will not sack them without making preparations for who will take over. Unless if I want my business to collapse. But naturally, when governors like Nasiru El-Rufai want to take action, they don't care because their children are not there. They are not going to be affected. So they take those reckless decisions and shut down the institutions.
That's the concern. Are your own children or grandchildren, by the way, in Kaduna public schools?
My children...
Did they ever attend Kaduna public schools?
I did. My children did. LA Primary is number 5. That is where I schooled. And my children went to those primary schools here in Kaduna.
But the crop of parents,
let me tell you,
young enough to be your own children who are also raising children now in Kaduna.
Yes.
I've spoken to a number of them, and they don't have their children in public schools. Perhaps that's what is motivating this government to embark on these reforms.
I am not against reform. I am saying don't be reckless. Don't even be heartless.
Are you saying all this? Do you hold this strong views, this quantum of strong views against the El-Rufai government because you are in the opposition?
I wish I was even in any opposition because truly go around the state.
You are in the opposition.
Yes,
are in the PDP.
I am in PDP up to today. And I'm very happy because I couldn't have even been, I would have been having migraine if I was in this El-Rufai's party. Because I think there is something wrong. It's either spiritual or there is something wrong with this whole system. Go around the state. You are in Kaduna now. Ask anybody, even the members of the APC, are they happy that the funds of local governments are being governed and managed by Nasiru? Are they happy that they cannot determine who rules them in their local government? That Nasiru wakes up and sends people he chooses to govern them.
If you were one of his commissioners, you'd be all quiet about these.
I wouldn't be commissioner under him. I have gone beyond commissioner in this state. That is the reality. I can't be commissioner in this state. Not because I am too big to work, but because I think I don't want to work in that capacity anymore.
But really, Governor Nasir El-Rufai believes that the PDP is non-existent in his state and that his only opposition that he has, that he gives him headache, is within his own party. So that means that the PDP in Kaduna is not living up to its game in providing vibrant opposition that could put him on his toes, and his government is seen by many as dictatorial. So where is the PDP in checking his dictatorship?
When a Nasiru is doing the work of the opposition, why should the opposition bother? Nasiru single-handedly has wrecked his government. Go into the markets, go to the motor parks, go to anywhere. There is nobody happy. He has damaged anything you know about politics. He has damaged anything you can talk of that is about integrity or performance. There is no governance in Kaduna State. Nasiru does not believe anybody exists even. It's not just that he doesn't believe PDP does not exist. No, he doesn't believe anybody exists. Everybody is nothing to Nasiru. He is the Alpha and Omega as far as Kaduna State is concerned. He knows it all. He has said it openly that he doesn't care that anybody who doesn't agree with him should go and climb Kofena Hill and fall.
You can't be commissioner under him because you've passed that level.
Yes.
So we gather that in 2019 you're aspiring to occupy the red chamber of the National Assembly as one of the senators representing Southern Kaduna.
Hopefully.
How are you going to pull this off?
I will be doing it under the PDP.
But you have never contested and won an election successfully.
Yes, because I have not contested. I'm going to contest now.
But you contested up to the level of primaries.
Yes, I attempted to contest. That was internal effort.
You had to step aside for the current senator, Denjumala.
Well, I didn't win because I stepped down for him before the election.
So why did you step aside? Does it mean that your popularity was not assuring enough for party leaders such that they would have given you the ticket rather than to Senator Danjumala?
No, when you are contesting or aspiring, for me, politics is what I participate in. It's not my profession. So in the process of participation, you place the cards on the table. And I am one that can give and take. I thought, and I believed at that time, that Danjumala should be given the ticket. And I supported him.
So
unconditionally.
Unconditionally?
Yes.
So what if Senator La is preparing to run for another term?
I want him to prepare.
So
it's a valid...
to square up against it?
Sure. Absolutely.
So how satisfactory has his leadership been for the people of Southern Kaduna, especially amidst the political atmosphere in recent times? To you, let's start with you before we talk about that region of Kaduna.
Well, I'm not the one that will write his report card. I prefer that the electorate...
He's representing you?
Yeah, he's representing me. There are things...
So it behoves on you to speak on his leadership style?
Well, for me, we are different. And our experiences, our exposures and competencies are different. There are things I would have done differently if I was a senator. Absolutely, there are so many things I would have done differently if I was a senator. Different from the way he's doing them. And I'm not the one that will say, yes, he has done well or not. But for me, there are things I would have done differently.
Would like to know some of those things that you've done differently, but that'll be after the break. You're watching Fireworks. In the last half hour, I've been talking with a Southern Kaduna PDP politician who's also served at the national level as the national legal advisor of the PDP and currently the legal counsel to the Middle Belt people. We'll be back after the break with more questions for him. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. If you've been following Discourse, it's been an interesting one, by the way. We've been reviewing Kaduna politics, especially the views of the opposition as regards the current El Rufai-led government. We have moved on to looking at PDP politics proper, and now we're reviewing the reservations that my guests may or may not have about the Senate leadership representing Southern Kaduna at the federal level. So it's not for you to issue him a scorecard. But what would you do differently if you were senator and your people at the Southern Kaduna region would love to hear this if they would give you your support in 2019? Yeah,
first of all, I will provide leadership. We have witnessed a total absence of leadership, especially when we have challenges of the herdsmen attacks on our communities. I will take it as my project, because representing your people means you are ready to go up front and lead from the front, not from behind. They will not need to lobby me to speak up on the floor of the National Assembly. They will not need to chase and look for me before they get things done or things said. Advocacy on the issues concerning our people has been very poor. And I'm saying that we deserve better, and I could offer better. There is supposed to be a proper synergy between all the members of the National Assembly on issues concerning us. And the person that can provide that type of synergy is the most senior, and that is the senator. I believe that has not been done, and I believe that I have capacity and I will be able to galvanize and synergize and build a solid team from the members of the National Assembly representing our people to provide leadership, to provide representation, quality representation on all issues. I get ashamed when I see other senators rise up day in, day out, to speak up on the issues concerning them, and I don't hear from my senator. I'm not happy about that. And this is not rocket science. It may be that the senator has a different style. That is okay for him. But I do think that our people deserve better. The issues that bedevil our existence as a people cannot take second position to any other thing.
But I'm surprised that you're demonstrating this much passion. You know, but at that level, when critical decisions such as your representation at the Senate level was going to be taken,
yes,
why didn't you fight for your right? Do you take responsibility now for the kind of leadership that you have at the federal level on behalf of your people? Because I recall that this was also the problem with the former senator
yeah,
who represented you at that level, and that was why your people were quick to pick another representative.
Sure.
So do you take responsibility for what is happening now?
Well,
many of your people are being killed, and people are saying, where is your representation at the federal level? Why are they not speaking up?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying too. I take responsibility up to the extent of saying that we wanted to change the representation. And we had confidence in someone we sent there. There is no gainsaying. I'm not an APC person who will say this today and say this tomorrow. And I take responsibility of the fact that probably we didn't represent or present the person that could do the proper advocacy. I take responsibility because I was involved. At that crucial point of selection, I was involved in producing the person that is on the seat today. So I take responsibility.
So you're going to do something differently?
Certainly.
Next time?
Certainly. There is no doubt about it.
In line with that,
yes,
Southern Kaduna leaders have always been, well, sometimes, let me be choosy with my words now, been accused of selling out, such that their people are left out in the cold, and the more reason they continue to clamor about being marginalized.
I'm not sure anybody even knows what is selling out, because I have not seen, if you sell out, there will be benefit of some selling or some collection of something. The people, I think, that have been in such positions or some positions actually just failed to understand what their work was. And to be on the floor.
Do you think your deputy governor is concerned enough about the plight of his people in Southern Kaduna?
That one
and
is...
has shown and spoken enough about his concern?
We have heard, and if you have been listening, you must have heard the language he speaks. He chooses to be politically correct. He chooses to speak as a politician.
Sellouts that is being talked about?
Well, I don't know. The word selling out is what I don't understand or I don't want to accept. Because if you sell, there must be a price that was paid.
Something was paid. Perhaps the office of the deputy governor is the price.
Well, probably he is happy and comfortable and doesn't want to miss out. That's why I said he's just being politically correct. Because I know him before he became deputy governor. I know the language he used. I know the way he used to speak with passion, more than me now. He had complete, total passion. And you could see him, we have his recorded interviews where he spoke about the killings.
In line with that, your former representative in the Red Chamber too, she was accused of not speaking out.
Certainly, she didn't.
What was the reason?
Best known to her, but she didn't. She chose to keep quiet when it mattered most. She elected to go hobnobbing with other people and building alliances that will benefit her more than what we were interested in. And that's why we changed her. And if we changed her to get someone else to do better, if that person doesn't do better, we are not going to apologize for asking that person to step down.
Is this particular trait the reason that Southern Kaduna people have been perpetually been able to rise only to the position of deputy governor in the state?
Now, the elections in Nigeria and in Kaduna State, the arithmetic that commands electoral votes, the architecture of electoral constituencies and polling units were so deliberately skewed against Southern Kaduna that it is difficult for you to arise from Southern Kaduna and say you will contest election and win. Zangon Kataf local government, where I come from, has a population that is competing with the population of Bayelsa State. But we don't produce one single member to the House of Representatives. Zangon Kataf local government is joined to Jaba local government to produce one member of the House of Representatives. And you ask why? The House of Representatives is supposed to be where people go based on population. People are elected based on the constituencies are supposed to be designated based on the number of people resident in those places. In Zangon Kataf, in the case of Zangon Kataf and Jaba local government, there is no explanation up to today. We have gone to court, we have advocated, we have raised issues, all on deaf ears. INEC has ignored all such calls. We have asked for a proper delineation. Nobody has bothered. We have in Kaduna South, where you stay, you have a large population of people between television, Barnawa. They have just a handful of wards. But if you go to Tudunwada, we have 12 wards.
Your former governor, who became governor by accident, God rest his soul, late Patrick Yakowa, was also governor under the PDP. That was your moment in history.
Yes.
That could have been the best time. Yes, it's a federal matter, but that could have been the best time when your advocacy could have yielded some fruit. What was the limitation of that administration?
INEC, the state government does not conduct delineation of constituencies. And I know that during Yakowa's time, a lot of documentation and advocacy was done on these issues. All was tabled before INEC. They promised that, yes, the time for constituency delineation was close at hand, that it will be done. It has not been done up to today.
Now, let's make progress. You are the legal advisor to the
Middle Belt Forum
people.
Yes.
And, of course, you know what's happening today.
Yes.
The continued killings. We hope that peace has been restored permanently now to Benue State.
Yeah.
What, if there's any, is the fruit of your representation of these people that could permanently bring peace to that region?
We have engaged in proper advocacy on these issues. We have been involved in documentation, data collection on the issues, on the real matters. And it's so painful. It's one of my the most painful experiences of my life, that you wake up and you find hundreds of your people not dead by virtue of a natural circumstance, or a flood, or a thunder, or earthquake. No, but are human beings surrounded the village and started killing from house to house. And they do that for hours. They finish, celebrate, and take off. And not even one person is arrested. And the pattern has been like that from Plateau to Southern Kaduna to Adamawa State, Numan for emphasis, then Benue State, Nasarawa State.
But arrests are being made.
It's the same.
In the latest round of killings in Benue, 7 arrests have been made.
7 people didn't kill. The people who surrounded those villages were hundreds. How on earth can the Nigerian government explain that a whole village is surrounded and people are killed and nobody is caught at the scene? That the attack didn't take place in 1 hour. We have experienced where the attack takes a whole night. And people only wake up and then the soldiers or the police come in. Perhaps to count the dead bodies and arrest anybody who stands up to shout, which is what we have seen in the case of Benue. Nobody was arrested while killing. But the military was quick enough to arrest Benue boys that were armed now, maybe to defend themselves. Those are the ones that are always arrested. In southern Kaduna, we had to go to court to secure bail for people, young boys who, out of frustration, seeing their parents and their siblings hacked down, destroyed, and killed, they now go and take machetes or then guns or sticks, begin to guard their communities. These are the people that the police and the soldiers come and arrest. Are we serious in this country? And these are the pains we have, that when we say this...
Charity begins at home. There is a camp, I believe, an IDP camp, or
where?
Southern Kaduna displaced persons.
Not set up by government.
Is it Kafancha? Yes.
We set it up. Government didn't set it up. As I speak to you, we challenged the government of El-Rufai. Why is it that you have not attracted even one single camp from the federal government? If you don't have funds to do it, there's a victim support fund. For God's sake, why is it that everything that has happened within the Middle Belt does not attract the empathy of the federal government? You have the Minister of Defense, for instance, coming up to explain and justify the attacks that people, that Benue State indigents had blocked cattle routes. So what do you expect the Fulani herdsmen to do? Are we serious? That is a top official of government, the Minister of Defense, who is supposed to run with rocket speed to protect and defend citizens of Nigeria from being killed. That is the explanation he has for the killings.
I understand it's an emotional issue for you, but what line of action will you take as a representative of the people?
Well, we will not spill the beans for now, but we are certainly taking steps to find to find a way to address these issues. Because we are citizens of Nigeria, we are not visitors, we are entitled to the protection of government. It's not a privilege, it's a right, and we are going to insist on it.
As we coast home gradually,
Yeah.
let's get back to Kaduna State PDP.
Yeah.
Now, in your bid to achieving your 2015 ambition, which camp do you belong to? We understand that there's a battle for the soul of your party at the state level.
Is that so?
Former Governor McCarthy and the former Vice President Namadi Sambu. So, where do we find you?
Probably there were some conflicts in the past, but now it's a one family affair. And I can tell you, we're going all out to seek the ticket of the PDP for Ahmed McCarthy.
There's more to ask, but we've run out of time. We hope that the next time we call on you, of course, you'll oblige us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
That's how it's been on Fireworks today. Of course, we hope that we've been able to put the issues in proper perspective for you. And because of that, I'm confident you'll join us again same time next week when we'll bring you another incisive edition of the program. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Bye for now.